My best friend kissed me during his bachelor party as a last kiss before marriage, but his wife found out, and now everyone thinks I'm being a boss for skipping his wedding for work, but I'm really just trying to cover for his wife. I, 29M, was supposed to be a groomsman for my best friend, 30M, as we've been tight since we were kids. This weekend, he's marrying his fiancée, 28F, who I've known since they were dating long distance in high school. At his bachelor party last weekend, we started off at my place and transitioned to bar hopping, and by the end, he was drunk and the guys, all our mutual friends and some of his cousins, were egging him on to do a last kiss before marriage dare. For extra info, I'm not a fan of that custom at bachelors or bachelorettes BC. It honestly makes it look like you're being held hostage to marry the love of your life, plus it's just disrespectful to your partner, but that's just an opinion I have and to each their own. But I knew he shared it too. Still, I figured if had be, he wouldn't do it because I know he loves his fiancée very much. To my literal shock and horror, he turned around, grabbed and kissed me. Not even a dumb peck, like he actually dipped me and held it for a few seconds until everyone was laughing obnoxiously. I didn't kiss back, I just froze and laughed it off when it finished. Later, I realized I wasn't having much fun anymore and bailed early, taking some of our drunker friends home with me. The next day, his fiancée first texted me on Insta, then on WhatsApp asking to talk, and then called me. She wasn't yelling or anything, but was just kind of awkward. She said she knew about the kiss, and that while she didn't love it, she was glad it was me and not some random girl. She said if he'd kissed another woman, she'd have taken it as cheating and dealt with it worse. I agreed and backed her point, saying I wouldn't have encouraged or allow that. But at the same time, she admitted she didn't feel comfortable with me being at the wedding now either, because it would just be in the back of her head. I was admittedly stunned at first, and then mad, then upset, but came to the conclusion that it was her wedding at the end of the day, and told her I got it and wouldn't go. She thanked me for understanding, but also asked me not to tell him that she was the one who asked. I have already sent the text backing out, giving reasons regarding work, and he was very upset and asked me if I could back out in any way. I freelance, by the way, and he knows this, so my lie wasn't a good one, and he went from upset to straight up mad at me for bailing out on his wedding day for work. All our mutuals have texted me in our shared wedding GC and have asked me to reconsider and told me, Therese, no way I'm skipping his wedding for work, I myself manage, some being harsher and some passive aggressive, all very valid. Now I'm stuck looking like the jerk when I was literally asked not to go, and also asked not to say that I was asked not to go. Everyone around me thinks I'm this jerk for prioritizing work over my best friend's wedding, and I honestly don't know how to navigate this without losing people. Edit, he just saw the message I sent and is typing, I'll hopefully update once we've properly spoken. Thank you for everyone giving me such good advice and setting me straight. I'm anxious and hoping this goes well, as the wedding is literally this weekend and we have a pre-party I'll have to prepare for if I'm still counted as a groomsman. Commenter. NTA, but bro, don't do this to yourself and come off as the bad guy. He shouldn't have kissed you, that was disrespectful to his fiancée, but his fiancée shouldn't be asking you not to tell people either. She needs to own her decisions. You are literally shooting yourself in the foot. Just come clean. Commenter 2. That was disrespectful to Op 2. He's doubly the victim there. Commenter 3. I've never heard of this last kiss tradition at bachelor or bachelorette parties, and I'm in the US with plenty of married friends in my 30s. I've heard of jerks cheating on their future spouses at their bachelor/ette parties, but not as a tradition? Is this actually a thing? Commenter 4. It's not a thing. Reddit is filled with people who think some super bizarre tradition is something everyone does. There was one post a while back where the poster was complaining about the tradition of the groomsmen and bridesmaids being paired off and acting like they were a couple for the entire night while they completely ignored their SOs, and the comments were full of people telling Op that's not a real thing. Update 1. Hi everyone, thanks for all the advice on my original post BC. I genuinely never expected it to go off like that, and it's allowed me to rethink my actions. Anywho, I did promise to update after talking to my best friend, so here it is. After reading through all the comments and some priv messages, I realized my approach was wrong and wasn't fair to him, or myself TBF, and was honestly making me look like the worst MF on the planet. So I ended up sending him a long text explaining the actual reasons why, starting from the kiss last weekend to his fiancée asking me not to come because it, also very loosely mentioning that she didn't want me to tell him about it. After reading many comments, I did feel like a wuss for complying in the first place, but I still felt guilty ABT at even telling him that and even just breaking her trust. He didn't text back for ages, but called me almost immediately when he saw it. Wasn't yelling or anything, but I could hear that he was really emotional. First he apologized like 10 times for the kiss. He said he thought it would just be a dumb laugh for the guys, and didn't realize how much it crossed a line for both me and his fiancée. He also said he never wanted me to feel uncomfortable, and admitted he'd been drinking way too much that night. I told him I completely understood and forgave him for that, at least on my end. Then when I told him about his fiancée's request, there was a long silence. And slightly off topic here, but I was eating pistachios and the sharp bit of the shell cut my lip a bit and it was so hard to keep quiet, but I had my super serious convo cap on, so anyways. He just kept repeating like she didn't tell me that. She didn't tell me that, I swear she didn't tell me that, and said he wished she'd talk to him directly instead of going around him, and that he hated how everything looked. Also said he had been the one to give her my number, as I had hers but never texted her, but thought it was for some surprise plan/present she was planning on surprising him with. After we talked, his fiancée texted me apologizing for putting me in that position, but she still stood by that she personally didn't want me there. She said she didn't want to be thinking about that on her wedding day, and while she wasn't mad at me, she just needed the peace of mind. To cut a long convo short, I'm going. My best friend told me he wanted me there, but also said he understood if I didn't want to push it with his fiancée, but repeatedly said he wanted me there more than anything. I told him I loved him and supported him and I'd go and that I was sorry for ever considering not going. He cried, I cried, like babies, but ended well enough. Our mutual friends/groomsmen, I'm guessing, are still kind of salty with me because they don't know the real story, and I'm not about to spread it around as it's not my relationship and not my drama to share. My best friend did tell me he'll clear the air as soon as possible prior to the wedding, but until then I'm just gonna take the L on looking like a flaky jerk. Thank you very sincerely to everyone that helped me change my mind, and I'm honestly so glad I put it on here because I could have very well been a knob and have missed my own best friend's wedding. It's this weekend, and we have a pre-party which I'm officially involved with once more, which is great. Thanks so much again. Commenter. I feel like this is not the end of this tale. Can we get an update after the wedding day, please? Oop, I'll try to, though I'm praying it goes well. Update 2. Hi guys, wedding plus pre-party happened last weekend and I've had a few days to process, so here's the update as promised. First off, I found out through a bridesmaid messaging me on Instagram why my BSF's fiancée reacted the way she did. As it turns out, it wasn't just about the bachelor party kiss, it was about him in general, which I had guessed enough thanks to some comments. For context, ever since I've known Andrew, my BSF, he's had a history of being impulsive when drunk. I know this is fairly common and I had the same issue in high school, but I learned to just drink less and eventually leveled out, but Andrew didn't. Over the years he's done a bunch of crazy stuff, most of which I'd forgotten or never even knew. The bridesmaid listed examples his fiancée had mentioned, like when he streaked through campus at midnight on a dare no one pushed him into, or when he kissed mutual friends, including me once, during drinking games in high school, and many other things, etc. Nothing that counted as cheating, but enough of a pattern that he's got a reputation for taking jokes and dares too literally. His fiancée, of course, knew about a lot of this, and it had been a sore point in their relationship early on. So when the kiss with me happened at the bachelor party, she didn't see it as a one-off joke, rather she saw it as proof his old habits weren't gone, and she panicked. In her mind, if he could do that in front of everyone, then what else might happen? And because it was me this time, that ever-constant part of his life, I became part of the problem. Apparently Andrew made things bad from the get-go when he got back from the party, as he walked into their hotel room with her and her mom there and blurted out the story very obnoxiously. That pissed her off and made her mom, who's apparently pretty conservative, really uncomfortable. According to the bridesmaid, her mom has clashed with Andrew before, and this was the last thing she wanted to see before her daughter's wedding. That same night, the fiancé and her mom talked, and her mom was the one who pushed the idea that I should quietly back out. She basically told her it would be a bad look to have me standing up there as part of the wedding party, which did explain why I got that message the next morning. In the end, I did go to the pre-party and the wedding. Both went fast but well and very beautifully. The part that really did unexpectedly hurt me was after, regarding the honeymoon. Many months before I had suggested this one destination I had gone to on Baca when I was way younger, and back then they'd both been excited and even asked me for hotel, restaurant recs in preparation. After the wedding, I had asked Andrew when they were leaving, and he kind of hesitated before saying they'd changed plans to somewhere completely different. I was very surprised, but we just laughed about it and closed it up with me saying oh well and wishing them a great time. With more thought given, I realized that it's another way of cutting out my influence/icing me out, and it was the point that the reality of it was coming down on me. Now that it's been a few days and I've driven back home, I have just conceded. While I'm glad I went, I'm not very hopeful for our friendship being the same. I love Andrew dearly, and I really do love his wife too, and I understand why things turned out this way, but I just wish I hadn't been the one involved. Drama is very fun to dive into when it isn't you, and that is fact Lamau. I do want to be clear though that the blame is on Andrew. While I don't think I deserve to be put in this position, I also believe they, his wife and her mom, tried their best to treat me fairly, even when it was hard for them. I do also forgive them, and I hope to move forward even if the friendship I had with him for 20 years won't probably ever look the same again. Thank you truly for all the comments and DMs and support. Note, we'll probably not engage with comments that are trying to stoke any fires. Please keep it respectful, and please remember that I'm human and I've genuinely tried my best to navigate this situation properly. Commenter. Wait, so she had a problem with his behavior, so she married him but chose to have a problem with you? Make it make sense. She's desperate enough to marry someone she doesn't trust, and she's willing to hurt someone else in the process. As a woman, I find her behavior disgusting.